Dude, where is all the loot? Oh, you've noticed. So, a lot of the loot is gone. Is it actually gone? Has it went somewhere else? What's going on in the world of Tarkov with the loot? Well, they have a new event, prepping for other things. We have a little bit to talk about today, so let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the X-Field Hideout. My name is Ghost. If you guys have never been here before, I'm super excited you guys are here. Today's video is going to be a tiny bit different because we are going to be going over the changes that are happening right now. I don't know the exact time they're going to continue to go on for. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the video, but this is about the dynamic loot event in Tarkov. Before we get into the video and start getting into the details of everything, I stream every single day on Twitch. I would love to have you guys by the stream, 6 a.m. PDT, grab some caffeine and come hang out. And I promise you, mostly I promise you that we're gonna have a good time and I'd love to see you there. Other than that, if you guys find any value in this video, make sure you guys smash the like button. It does go a long way for the channel. And if you guys want to see more Tarkov content, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. You can always hit the bell if you want to be notified when videos go live. Let's get into the video. So yesterday, there was quite a bit of people talking about on Twitter about not being able to find loot, in labs rooms, like literally going to like red room, violet room, blue room. I mean, no matter where they were, let's be honest, blue is usually pretty empty. But all the different rooms they went and they were literally finding nothing. And the loot they were finding was not the loot that should have been there. Like instead of going into like red room and finding a bunch of suppressors and a Bitcoin and a clock and like all of these high-end items, people are coming out with like PSOs and like busted buffer tubes and you know what I'm saying? Like some really, really low end loot. So it sparked a conversation. Then all of a sudden more and more people are like, hey, you know what? Now that you've said that, I hit marked room 4 times in a row and literally found nothing. I hit Ultramed and didn't find anything. I farm interchange and wasn't finding my regular graphics cards. And so the whole community is going back and forth because there has nothing been said at this point about what's going on, right? So everyone's just giving their examples and their experiences, and there was a couple people that were saying maybe we're an event that wasn't announced yet, maybe it's a bug. I mean, there's a lot of theories being put out there. So as we continue to go forward, this morning BSG talks about it. So just so you guys know, we are in my Discord right now. All of the news and everything that BSG talks about once new events happen are in the Discord. So if you guys want to join the Discord, all the links are down in the description below. So what he says, hello everybody. It's been a long time without status reports, and it has not meant that we do nothing. On the contrary, we are so immersed in colossal volumes of work that we do not have time to exhale. Here is a status report on what is going on and what we are focused on right now, which is really cool because if you guys know how things have been going, there is a lot of shadow nerfs and shadow buffs, and the only people that are really recognizing these things happening are the people who are playing the game the most. So it says patch 12.11.5 intermediate patch with fixes and optimizations. Dope. Patch 12.11.6 Unity 2019 migration and DLSS support could be very huge. Patch 12.12 Lighthouse location, which is going to be a fairly big map and a big deal in the Tarkov world. Daily quests, another huge change. Inertia, and there will be ETS. ETS is basically a server that was implemented so that people who apply to be on that server, a private NDA test server, can test out things like Inertia and VoIP and these things that they're going to be putting in there. That way people can give feedback before they go live, like let's say the flash rounds and star rounds, and everybody is just like really, really upset and their tweaks happen after, right? So Inertia, there will be ETS test. VoIP, there will be ETS test. Inertia is basically changing the way that movement happens. We'll talk about that in a second. VoIP, ETS, next weapon malfunctions, iteration, new weapons and other stuff. Lots of quality of life improvements and additions in 12.12.5. Other intermediate patches with hotfixes, visual performances, partially will be pushed on ETS servers. So the things that they think are going to be like major changes will probably be on there, and the other ones that are minimal will probably just put in the game because they don't really need a lot of feedback. 3 new modules to anti-cheat system to increase anti-cheat reaction time and overall cheat detection speed. And this is mainly because a lot of people have been complaining that it's not just the fact that people are cheating, but it's taking forever for cheaters to be banned. The fact that somebody can cheat their way up to level 71 and 65, and I've been killed by a 63, a 59, it feels bad to know that you can ban somebody, or report somebody, and they can cheat up to that level, which takes a lot of time, even when you're cheating. And there has also been multiple accounts of people on Twitter posting that they report somebody and then they go and check on that name later to see if they have been banned, and that person has gained another 4, 5. Some of them are saying they even gained another 10 levels, so nothing is being done. So hopefully that will help with this situation. It's a hot topic right now, although we did a great progress on the issue for the last weeks. The war is not over. Events, podcasts, and other related activity preparations, which is always good because it keeps us, the community, informed on what's happening behind the scenes with BSG and all the things moving forward, which keeping people in the loop is a big deal when it comes to a game, especially a game that's in beta with a lot of very finicky changes and stuff like that. So next 4 months will be pretty hard and important. We need to provide you a lot of important fixes, changes, and content actions speak louder than words. Very, very big statement. I'm excited about it. Take care, the dev team. So let's go over these real quick. So we have I wanted you to be able to see this portion. That's why I didn't have my camera on. So daily quests, I'm very, very excited about. I think it could bring a lot of new things to the game. Inertia is basically movement change. There has been other games. I would say the most recent one that has inertia in it. You guys have probably played some of them, but one of them is Scum. So what happens is it changes the way people are able to, like, for instance, when people run in a zigzag pattern to not be hit by rounds when you're in the middle of a fight, it would mean every single time somebody is like rounding a corner on those tight turns, you're not gonna be able to go like very quickly, if that makes sense. Every time you round a corner, you're gonna slow down like you would IRL. When you start to run and you're running at max speed, you're not going to be able to just take off like a really fast sprint like we do right now, and you're not going to be able to just stop right at the edge of somewhere and just be stopped. It's going to be a gradual stop. It's going to be a gradual from your walking speed all the way to your running speed. So max speed is not something that just happen in an instant. Those are like basic examples of inertia. We don't know the level. I mean, if you're on the ETS server, maybe you do. It is NDA, so you can't really ask people the details of it unless you are also on it. But I am assuming that is kind of what it's going to be like. That's how it's been in other games. It could be different. I really, really hope that they implement it well, because not only is there going to be a lot of crying and complaining about it, but it's going to change a big portion of the game, especially for people who are more aggressive and play faster. They're going to notice it a lot more than people who play slower. And I'm not going to get into all the different play styles. There's already enough drama on Twitter if you guys want to go talk over there. But I will say that Tarkov is one of the games that can be played 70 different ways and there not be a wrong way to play it. This would definitely change many things in the game if it is implemented in a certain way. If it's implemented lightly, I don't really know how much it's going to change the game, if at all, in all honesty. It really just depends on that. So enough about that. VoIP could be very interesting. It could be great for content. It also could be really bad when you guys have hot mics on Call of Duty. You guys know what this is kind of like. If you guys have played Rust, if you guys have played all these games, basically VoIP is, if you are in the vicinity of somebody you're not partied up with, there's an opportunity to talk to them, which, like I said, it could be great for content. It also could be very toxic, but that's kind of like how every type of game is, in all honesty, especially when it comes to like FPS games and competitive games in general. So VoIP could be cool. I don't know how many streamers are going to have it on, just because of the things that people could be saying, and especially if people know that you're streaming and streamer mode isn't changed and tweaked to be better, then it could just be maybe bad. The other thing is weapon malfunction iterations. Now, they are supposed to have, I believe, 4 or 5 weapon malfunction iterations. Right now we have 1, which is a misfire, and there's a lot of talk about it. This video is not to discuss what everybody in the world thinks about the weapon malfunction system. I personally think that there are tweaks that could make it better. I am not against weapon malfunctions. I don't think that the element of RNG that is currently iterated inside of the malfunction system is that doesn't feel that good a lot of times. But I will say that this morning, they also noted that malfunctions, or I should say misfires specifically, have been decreased because of the ammo durability, the burn durability. You guys may have noticed it when you have like around like 993. It has 100% durability burn, saying like if you use this round, you are going to jam way more often than somebody using like AP63 or PST in a 9mm SMG, right? So there's a lot of things to factor in when it comes to weapon malfunctions, but the misfire, it has been changed. You guys should be jamming half as much as you have been jamming. So the thing is, guys, is we have to understand is BSG is putting brand new things into the game. As much as it could be frustrating in moments for me or anybody else, we have to understand that when things are put into the game, in the beginning, there's going to be things wrong with it. There's going to be things that we don't like, but the thing is they're working through them. They're changing them. I do notice that there has been changes according to what the community has said. So some of the backlash has caused changes. Some of the people saying that they like certain parts of it has been left. So we just have to understand that. We need to have a little bit more grace, I feel like, in the community, and we really need to understand that when new things are implemented. I'm saying this on purpose because I want you guys to go into the inertia change with a good mindset. I know that there's going to be a lot of people on Twitter going back and forth and creating sides, and it's just not worth it. It's a lot of stress for no reason. There's no need to create sides. We should be able to have civil conversations about these things, and inertia will definitely be one of them. So go into it with an open mind. A lot of the things that are coming to the game, we just need to understand that they are brand new and they need to have room. The BSG needs to be allowed to have room to be able to make tweaks to make those features better. Can we voice our complaints? Yes, we should be able to voice our complaints if they are actual, accurate, concisive complaints, with maybe adding a solution onto those complaints instead of just like crying about certain things. But at the end of the day, when things feel bad, we should be allowed to say something about it. And then BSG can therefore take our constructive criticism, not just hate, and be able to make changes accordingly. Also, about the cheats, implementing the reaction time and overall cheat detection speed. I think this is all good. If you guys have come from a competitive scene, I have played many games competitively, including Apex Legends, Call of Duty Forever, Overwatch. And you guys need to understand that when things are competitive and you have a PvP element, there is going to be cheating, period. That is just how the world is in this moment. There is no game that you can play right now that is competitive and you have player versus player involved. You literally have to play like a single player campaign game to not encounter cheaters. So I know it sucks. I don't like going into 2 raids and having 1 cheater. I don't like going into 4 raids and having 2 cheaters. It happens. Sometimes I run into multiple cheaters in the same raid, but at the end of the day, we need to voice our concerns. Maybe some of us need to step away from Tarkov for a bit, take a little bit of a breather, and then come back when things are a little bit better, see how this is implemented. But the fact that they're talking about it is a good sign. There is many companies right now, dev teams, that are completely silent when there is complaints happening within the communities. So anyways, sorry to harp about all that. There's going to be timestamps down below, so if you guys don't want to hear all this, but I wanted to make sure that I just talk about that to hopefully have people become a little bit more open-minded and let us have like real conversations about these things as creators, because it can be kind of frustrating to talk about these things as creators and just have people just very emotional and quick to bash and quick to hate and quick to shut down. So anyways, all of that has been said. Now, the question that you guys have been wondering about, and that is, what the heck is dynamic loot and why is all of the loot gone? Okay, so hopefully this will help you a little bit. What I wanted to do is I actually wanted to look up the definition of dynamic for some of you who don't know what the definition means. The definition of dynamic is a process or system, okay, characterized by constant change, activity, or progress. So essentially what it means is when there is dynamic loot in the game, it means that where there has been loot, it's going to be constantly changing, okay? This is a good thing. The reason why this is a good thing is because 1, it keeps raids full longer. If you guys, I have been playing a ton of Interchange lately, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. In Interchange, you fight 2 types of people. Sometimes the raid is full of them. You either fight butt naked dudes with SJ6 in their veins, rushing to all of the GPU, Tetris, roller, Bitcoin spawns. They run around the whole mall in like 2 minutes. And if there isn't the loot they have, or they've already taken it, they are gone. They extract, they reset, and they do it over and over and over. Many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is an indirect nerf to that, without directly, let's say, nerfing containers, right? Because that's a whole nother conversation. Dynamic loot means now you can't just go to a certain spot and assume that a GPU or a LEDX or something like that on the floor loot, right? Floor loot or static loot or whatever you want to call it is there. Trust me, I do the exact same thing. When I play Interchange, a lot of the stores I hit are because of PvP and loot. Those areas are like Texco and TechLight and Ultramed, and you're going to these places, and I'm not as likely to go into like a random store that I know has a single toolbox, or a random store that I know has like, you know, random loose loot of like food and random med items and stuff like that. Like, I want the good stuff. And I think that's how it is for everybody. So this is actually exciting that they're implementing this, because it's going to make it so that people have to search around the raid more. You have more of an opportunity. If you aren't the first one to those loot spots, you still have an opportunity to get a GPU, to get a LEDX, to get these things that are shoved in people's containers very, very quickly, because they know exactly where they are. And I've noticed this. So I have played a lot of Interchange in the midst of all of this, right? A lot. And Ultramed has been completely like dumbed down. I mean, I'm getting like a Propital, maybe a morphine, regular stuff like bandages, and it's just not good. I got a single LEDX and like over 20 Ultra Room hits. So if that goes to show you how much it's changed, it's changed. I went from getting like double LEDX spawns to like none at all. Then when it comes to graphics cards and Tetris and high loot for the other spots, I would definitely say I have not got a single double GPU. I have received GPUs, but there are certain spots that have them more often than others. If you run Interchange a lot, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where you look on certain shelves first, or you look at certain areas first. That has not been the case. It seems like there is more randomization, including me finding a GPU on the floor. That was weird. I've never found a GPU on the floor before. Finding one on the floor, finding them on like bottom shelves instead of top shelves, finding them in different areas. So I definitely found less GPUs, but still found some. I found a good amount of Tetrises still, but like I said, they were in different spots. And it seems like a lot of like the places that had like the higher loot had like smaller items, like a CPU fan, or there was also like a lot of spark plugs. And like, I'm like, man, I never see this many spark plugs in here. So like things like that. So what's going to happen is, people have been asking about it. What's going on with the loot? Is it gone like this forever? How long is it going to be? Nikita actually responds on Reddit, and he says, dates are being estimated. Let me put this up so you guys can see it. Dates are being estimated. Current loot event is more like a series of events aimed to establish fully dynamic loot. Now, I don't really know what he means when he means fully dynamic loot, because I think it's going to make people very upset if the loot stays this way and you guys are paying like 60 million for red card, which most of you are looting it. You're not paying that much for it. But if you are, 60 million for red card, the labs cards especially, I could see be very frustrating if you go in there and there's nothing in there, or if you do go in there and there's like a screwdriver, a fan, and toilet paper instead of stims and a serve kit and a golden star. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know what he means by fully dynamic loot. I don't know if keys are going to be just cheap across the board, if they're going to mess with any of that, or he's talking about just like the loot on all the loose loot, all the floor loot, all that stuff, if that's going to be changed in a way that makes people stay in the map longer and search areas maybe they don't usually search. Because the other problem that we have with like Interchange, for instance, I'll talk about that because I've been playing it a lot, is that there is areas of Interchange you can literally just run through and not really deal with anybody. And that's because nobody's there. One example is if you go to loot any of the computers, it seems like. I can loot all the computers with ease, all the doors open, and not really worry about anybody until the player scavs are on board. But players, nobody's looting the computers. Everybody is in all the main stores, so you get in fights in all the same places. People are holding all the same lines of sight, and after a while, yeah, I think this is definitely good for the game. It doesn't feel good with no loot, so I hope that what he's talking about, right? Dates are being estimated. Current loot is to establish fully dynamic loot. I would assume they're going to try to do this as soon as possible and not have places just completely with no loot for too long, because especially for the people who don't like to engage in a lot of PvP, and they don't get a drive off of that, they're also now not getting any like really good loot. Like, let me be clear though, there is still loot. There is still money to be made. There are still places to search, but it is significantly less, especially if you're used to farming a certain spot for rubles. You will notice like, whoa, dude, like I'm making like, you know, a quarter of the amount of money that I was making usually from hitting the exact same spot. So it's going to make people venture out, but ultimately I think it's actually a really good thing for the game. I think it's a really good thing for loot. I think it's a great way to indirectly nerf things that people have been frustrated about for a long time. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see where the game continues to go. If you guys didn't get the message from Fence as well, lastly, I wanted to talk about is Bake Easy, Heaven Sent, always translating messages for us. This got to us into the game. Fence sent this to us. He says, so listen up. I'm only telling you this because we get along well. The past places with the stuff are no more relevant. No more relevant. My people removed and stashed all the valuables, almost all the valuables. Look elsewhere on locations. So almost all the loot, right, has been stashed other places. I have talked to my community, and my community is saying that there is a lot of different loot in stashes. I don't know if that's exactly tied to the event. I assume that it is, especially because my community is posting pictures. Go in the Discord, you guys could see they're posting pictures of finding GPUs, a lot of good armors, a lot of good helmets, a lot of good guns in stashes, way more than before. One of my friends was saying that he found like 2 helmets and an armor in the same stash, like craziness. So maybe stash runs is the move. I also have a guide for custom stash runs. We will be doing woods and shoreline soon, and we also have interchange. So if you want to check those out, those are on YouTube as well. But that is essentially the event. I'm very, very stoked. Just looking forward and seeing like the direction of the game, seeing that it is going to be a more grindier, more hardcore experience. That's the type of game that I like. That's what always brought me to Tarkov versus playing other games. So we will see how things are rolled out next. But like I said before, guys, try to be patient, try to give a little bit of extra grace. And if people are saying things that you don't like, just try your best to ignore those and engage with people who are a little bit more open-minded. I really, really think that it'll bring you a lot of stress. We get stressed out enough playing this game all day long, every single day. You don't need extra stress from people saying things that you maybe don't agree with, or people trying to get a reaction or a rise out of you. So just remember that. If you guys got some value out of the video, make sure you smash the like button. It does go a long way for the channel. If you guys want to see more Tarkov content, we have over 100 videos on YouTube to hopefully bring you some value. So subscribe, and you can always hit the bell if you want to be notified when videos go live. I'd love to see you guys at the Twitch stream every single day. Very, very early. So if you guys want to grab that caffeine and come hang out, I would love to see you guys there. I hope you guys are very blessed. Hope you have an amazing day or night, depending on where you're at in the world. I hope that you are able to find some joy and peace in the midst of these events and not be so quick to be irritated. Trust me, I'm in the same boat. There's many, many times where I get frustrated as well, but I have to take a deep breath and realize that things are being worked on, things are being implemented that are brand new. And other than that, as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. Happy raids.